I feel like at a point in time, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Actually, even in our time, like my time, I would agree with that. I think now as focus from a corporate standpoint shifts more on diversity and inclusion and figuring out recruiting efforts for the HBCU student, I feel like that has kind of streamlined a little bit for the smaller and the larger HBCUs because this is just the game, right?
That's it.
White recruiters,
Playing the game.
white HR members,
They
believe that the cream of the crop is at the HBCU. So I've had conversations with recruiters for my teams even, and they're like, oh, Jerome, we got this great pipeline. We got this great net that we've thrown out and cast some great prospects. I'm like, okay, so what did you do? They're like, oh, we went on LinkedIn and see who went to a HBCU, who's a part of the National Black MBA or the National Black Association of Black Accountants. And I said, so are you looking for a black talent or black people? Because I wasn't part of those organizations in college. I didn't go to HBCU, so if you consider me black talent, you're going to miss me. But they're so focused on the HBCU students these days that they're even starting to ignore the PWI students because they feel like that's where the cream of the crop.
We are back again for another episode of What We Talk About podcast. The podcast where we enlighten, entertain, uplift the community. I am your boy, Mr. Diddy Podman, back with family. Got my man.
Jay still don't play.
Mr. Riley.
White man gave me something to say.
And guess what?
As always.
I played this for a little bit longer. I forgot.
Yeah.
Get him back to and we got a special guest for us, man. We got a new family in the building because she can't fuck with our other homeboy. We got Miss
Jessica. Hello. Miss Jessica, the girl next door.
Hey, welcome. Welcome. Jess.
I am nervous.
Listen, don't be nervous. I appreciate you pulling up because when I brought your name up, Diddy was like, you don't know her.
No.
That's not fully accurate.
No. I saw the video. Elliot.
Thank you, Jess.
She said,
thank you, Jess.
Elliot, I love Elliot.
Thank you, Jess.
These my
But you know how people be like, you talk about somebody, oh, that's my man, They know them then.
No, that's my man.
Never brought your name up prior for episode. We had Burpee on 2 times. Oh, yeah, I know Jessica. Get on. You said the first time we met Burpee? Said nothing about Jess. But
It was
now
about
you know
Burpee.
Jess. Huh?
It was about Bird.
Just casual conversation.
I feel you.
Nobody said Jessica.
Hey, look.
I heard him speak of Jessica before.
Did he?
Not on the show, but
No, Elliot does my
Nothing
haircutting
but love
event
for Jess.
every single year.
Yeah.
That's
Nothing
what
but
he
love.
does. So y'all stories line up. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. But I'm saying
It makes sense.
He didn't hold you down. Like,
He
don't
hold me-
seem like y'all besties now.
We very easily could be. Like,
for
the
real.
circles, like,
For real.
it's crazy.
Is it?
It.
Intertwined.
When's the last time you saw
not
Noah?
challenging you.
Time out. When's the last time you saw Noah?
Hand to the face.
Noah, AJ's son.
Noah.
That's just like he's my nephew. That's
Yeah.
like my
Thank you.
nephew, and then AJ
thank you.
gets his haircut. And
Yeah.
like I said, Elliot does all of my haircutting
know
events
AJ?
every year.
I don't know what AJ is. But it sounds like Elliot cuts a nigga's hair that you know. I don't.
All right.
He's my family. That's
AJ's
my
your family?
family. Yes. Yeah.
You didn't give him no. No, the kid's the nephew. But
AJ is his father.
Okay. Oh, AJ. You say AJ.
AJ's his father.
Yes.
It was no. It was,
At the end of the day, they cool like that.
Yes. Yes.
My
that's
peoples.
fine.
Put a stamp on it.
Yeah, what is that
Alright,
with
so
this
we
shit?
can't vote.
Approved.
Yes.
We can't vote.
Jeez.
I don't wear all of that. So my apologies. I'm apologize on camera.
Yeah.
Please do.
Thank you.
A nigga you know.
To the viewers.
No,
Elliot,
to AJ.
To AJ, what's up,
Thank
King?
you.
What's up, King? And Elliot, I'm sorry.
Oh, not here, King. Not here, King. He was just that nigga.
He
Not
was
here,
just that
King.
nigga. Like he that kid. Oh my God.
He did call my brother a nigga.
Nigga, where you cut? Yes. Yes.
That's on me.
Oh my God.
He's probably bigger than me too. Yeah. He's probably bigger than me too, man.
Little bit.
Look,
Little
Miss Jessica
bit.
like, because I can call him and tell him to pull up.
And the crazy part is, he'll come. Like AJ will be here 10 minutes. No lie.
King.
You like the party,
Alright. Anyway. Jess.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
me.
Jess.
Let's get right to it. Homecoming's around the corner. I was told that you went to JCSU because I don't know you like Elliot does.
Yes.
But I was told you went to JCSU.
Yeah.
What we got planned for? You excited?
I'm super
Tell me a little
excited.
bit about your college years. Did you go to school for this?
I went to school for broadcasting.
Okay.
I'm a 5th generation Smithite.
All right.
on both
that's
sides of
what's
my
up.
family.
Yeah.
So
Damn, that's
that's
what's
my-
up, Jess.
What's it called?
I'm
Like-
from Virginia. I'm a military baby. So
Okay.
I was born in New Orleans, but I grew up in Virginia. My mother, my father, and my older brother all attended Johnson C. Smith. My oldest brother attended Norfolk State.
Okay.
So I'm excited about this homecoming because I'll be celebrating 20 years of being a Delta.
Hey.
20 years of being a Delta
Making
with
it
my
up.
sorority sisters, and then my mom and my dad and my godparents, and even my brother, my sister. They're bringing my niece and my nephew down from Atlanta, so I get to. This will be the first time that they've experienced homecoming.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a good time.
Do you think the HBCU experience has gotten better through these years, or you think like back in your time was like different?
I don't know if it's gotten better. I think that it's getting a lot more notoriety. People are talking about HBCUs more nowadays. But I mean, HBCUs have always been lit.
Correct.
Ever since I was a little girl, I remember going when my brother was in college, going and during homecoming, staying on campus with my god sister and going through homecoming and experiencing that. That's what made me want to go to an HBCU. So HBCUs have always been lit, but it's just the popular thing to talk about them now.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Exactly.
Anything that your school does different, like what brings you back to JCSU? You know, some people's like the yard. Sometimes it's just the freaking parties. It's actually the actual game, like the band. What brings people to JCSU? Like, why should they come to JCSU's homecoming this year?
So Johnson C. Smith is a small campus.
Yep.
So that's what makes us special, right? You got North Carolina A&T, you got the Howards, you got those really, really big schools.
Don't forget about Central.
You got Central,
about Benedict.
yeah. You got
Central
Central.
ain't really doing
You got all these big schools, right, that everybody knows about. But Johnson C. Smith is one of those smaller schools. There's not a very, very big population, so we all know each other, and it's really,
Yeah.
truly a family. And that's what makes it special. Like, it's not about the parties for us. It's about going back and seeing my brother, my sister, seeing their kids who are like my nieces and my nephews. I have a shout out to my homegirl Shawanda. She has a daughter. She calls me her auntie on her Smith side because we went to school together.
Wow.
And that's what it's about, just seeing and reconnecting with our family and seeing what they're doing in life and supporting them.
To just speak to that, like, you know, I'm from Charlotte, grew up here, all of that good stuff. Was 2 days away from actually being interested in going to Smith. I kick myself all the time because I didn't know Smith was an option until it was too late. But knowing so many Smithites, like, so, I didn't even apply to Smith. I got accepted to Winston and the A&T though. Stop trying to play.
No, because you
You
said
said-
you initial last minute.
No, I didn't. Like, I literally did not know Smith was an option. Like, I
And
didn't
that's
know
not-
Smith was here.
That's nothing. That's not.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That's not unusual. Smith is
I had
a
no
small
clue.
school that people don't know a lot about.
I had no clue. So
That's how you know.
when I was coming out of high
18?
school, like all of my friends, they were going to Winston, A&T, Central. Nobody was going to Smith. So I literally did not know that Smith was an option until I was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? But meeting so many people that went to Smith, graduated from Smith, and then still stayed here, and then connecting with them, like, I almost feel like an honorary Smithite because I'm at homecoming every year. I'm at all of the events, all of the parties, and I get love like I actually went there, graduated from it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, that just throws me off the fact that you're from Charlotte.
Charlotte and didn't know.
And you didn't know
I had
Jesus
no
Smith
clue.
was-
I had no clue.
He was from Brooklyn, right?
Nah, man, I'm not from Brooklyn. Mike, stop.
I thought you said that.
Yeah.
That's a whole other
No.
conversation.
Yeah, that
So
is. Because you were in the city.
You were in the city.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
Your
was
whole
here.
life. You
Yeah,
didn't know Johnson
I
Smith was-
never knew. I went to Smith one time for, it was like a leadership academy, but I was so young. I went when I was like 13, 14. So to me, it was just this big space where they were just having something. It wasn't a university that I could actually go to and still stay home. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of the reason why I didn't leave. Like, I wasn't ready to leave home. So had I known that Smith was an option, I would have went to Smith.
Yeah.
But
That's-
sometimes that happens because, like, I'm from Virginia, and Norfolk State is there. I wasn't interested in going to Norfolk State.
Interested, but you didn't know.
Yeah, but I mean, Smith is a very, very small school.
small community.
You're not going to know about the Smiths. You're not going to know about the Livingstones. You're not going to know about the St. Augs and things of those nature because they're so small. The only way that you know about those schools is if you know somebody that went to those schools.
And then the other part is my mom. She went to Elon and Chapel Hill. My dad was in the Army. We moved here. You know what I'm saying? So they probably didn't even really know until they started moving and shaking, and then like that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's interesting. I know I have friends who have gone to the larger HBCUs, but I also, when I was in high school, had a guy from Cleveland. He got a tennis scholarship to Johnson C. Smith, and that was my first introduction to it. But like as I've grown older, like when I worked at Target headquarters, I met a young lady doing very well at Target, but she attended Johnson C. Smith out of Chicago. So it's just interesting that I know people from different areas that knew about it or came here for whatever reason, but you from the city, I think.
Never.
Who was the person that played tennis? Do you know his name? Do you
His
remember
last name is George Dixon Jr.
Okay. I played tennis at Smith.
Yeah.
I played tennis at Smith. My brother played tennis at Smith, and my father all played tennis at Smith as well.
George Dixon. So his father owned a famous seafood restaurant in Cleveland called Lancers, and he came down to Johnson C. Smith on the tennis scholarship. He played tennis with one of my homeboys, Will.
That's dope.
Yep.
Especially when you talk
I wasn't
about
good.
people
But.
that cared about schools.
You was on the team.
You was on the thing, yeah.
Because, like, again, same thing. Benedict, it's in Columbia. Shout out DC. But, like, I got an acceptance letter in the mail randomly. Like, what is this?
Acceptance letter?
Yeah.
So somebody
My
did application
mom,
for you?
My mom took all my football footage and sent it down.
To everywhere.
No, she
Just
sent it
there?
directly there because my middle brother, his guidance counselor at Waddell High School at the time, which is now it's like a language school or whatever. So she was a guidance counselor there, but she graduated from Benedict. She was trying to get him in, and I had just came from Wesley, my PWI.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Nah, you going back to school?" I was like, "She said, I got you. Don't worry about it."
Wow.
Yeah, you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny, man, because our pod last week, we talked about raising our children and things we want to add to it from what we learned from our parents and generations like that. We should put on a list of just, not putting a full list together, but at least knowing your HBCUs that's close by. That's crazy, man. I ain't trying to harp on it, but
Nah.
that's just wild to me.
So here's the crazy thing. My youngest daughter, Cassidy, cannot wait for homecoming. All she's been talking about
Someone Johnson Smith.
Johnson C. Smith. Her mom went to Smith, graduated from Smith. So Cassidy is lit and ready to go to homecoming. She already knows she's going to a HBCU. She don't know if it's going to be Smith, Winston, or FAMU, but those are her top 3 schools already.
Is it about the homecoming?
And Cassidy that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. I used to go to homecoming all the time and was so excited every year. Like, are we going to homecoming? Are we going to homecoming? I want to go to homecoming. And knew there was no other option for me.
Yeah.
I was going to an HBCU hands down.
I think something about like the food, the music in the background, singing your own skin.
People who look like you.
Look like you. Outside of this, they doing something well. They done made it. They done went to school. It's a different feeling to me.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at Smith, I remember I was it was my senior year, and I was very active on campus. I was doing everything. I was playing sports. I was the SGA president. I was doing a lot. I pledged my sorority.
Summa cum laude,
And
all
I was
that,
all
yeah.
that, all that.
Had
Graduated
all
with
the
honors.
goddamn
But
honors
so
things
so
they
here's the crazy thing. In high school, I had horrible grades. I had horrible grades to the point where there were other schools that accepted me, but they accepted me on a probationary period. You had to come and you had to go to special programs in order to get in fully because my grades were horrible. Smith was one of those places, and I was like, okay, I'll go. But when I got to Smith,
Tighten up.
man, it wasn't even about tightening up. It was the atmosphere presented a place where it's like, you are better than that.
Yep.
Like, go to be what you were made to be. And when they pour into you that way, you want to do better for yourself. So I ended up graduating with honors from Johnson C. Smith. Like, it was a wonderful experience for me. But I remember being on campus, and my senior year, I was going through some things, and I was I was going through a little bit of depression, and wasn't telling people. And the VP of Student Affairs looked at me and said, I don't know what it is that's going on with you, but if you don't get it together, I'm going to call your mom and I'm going to call your dad. I'm going to tell them to come down here and get you and get it together. And you don't get that at no PWI.
But you was a Yancey baby, too.
Yeah. Like, and President Yancey, I literally had President Yancey's cell phone number. The president of the university, I had her cell phone number in my phone. Like, you don't get that at people. You're not calling the chancellor or the president.
The chancellor.
You're not calling them.
Facts.
Like, I'm picking up the phone calling the President Yancey, like, stuff is going on campus. And she's like, okay. That's what makes Smith different from not only a PWI, but those bigger HBCUs.
That, when I tell you, like, embracing, like, it takes a village, that's what makes an HBCU an HBCU. Like, seriously, I've had hella professors, hella instructors, hella coaches my entire life. But honestly, like, my a couple of my major professors, like in public health and all of that good shit at Benedict, they were like, listen, Thompson, get to class. Stop playing around. You got shit to do. Get here. And these are black women.
Yep.
Not no men.
Yep.
Like I had, we had Mr. Shabazz. He was a guidance counselor. We had, obviously we had, I'm not gonna speak his name, but we had the president we had at the time. He was a guy, you know what I'm saying? But like the black women that are there,
You know, it's always different though.
always. It's like stop playing around. You know how you say it a lot, and I know you do mean it, but you also throw it around. King this, king that. They not playing around with that shit.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny to me? Like, we can go down a whole another rabbit hole.
Facts.
That was kind of my point when we were at a boys' crib. We were talking about Dr. Dre and you give the money to a USC or whatever. We talk about how you guys spoke about the HBCUs and what it gives to you. Like, why was you not? So you get that type of love already from your professors like that. Half the time, it's more so not having the finances, the reaches to get you the same experience you get on that level with PWI. We already know the experience being better by the people and things that you touch. It's more so the resources, right? So that's kind of my biggest point with that. Like, you throw some money to an HBCU like that, you get that type of experience that all y'all reach. Then you have the other things: a good library, a good cafeteria, a bigger stadium, better dorm rooms. Yeah. Man, black people never even think about going to the PWI.
But you know what else? I talked to my boyfriend about this a lot because he attended a PWI and then he went and got his master's from Smith. And for him, he struggled with it because he was like, it seems so unorganized. He's like, this didn't happen on my PWI. And I'm like, but is life straight? Is it a straight line?
Thank you.
Life is not a straight line. Life is unorganized. Life is you'll take you here, you'll take you there. You know, so on a HBCU campus, you get real life experiences. It looks like chaos, but life is chaotic.
Yeah.
Now,
And it teaches you how to navigate that.
Did y'all know when you come from HBCU, when you applying for grad school, your GPA has to be higher than you come from a PWI. Is that white and black with this whole freaking system, man? But
Because it's about validation.
Yeah.
that's wild though.
You know
But
what I'm saying?
to me, we talk about validation. It comes down to money, things of that nature
Absolutely.
that we could fix.
Again, validation.
Correct.
So you think about you graduate with plus 4.0 GPA from Smith, right? Same person, same major.
Just with undergrad degree.
No, same. Both undergrads. Plus 4.0. You got Justin Smith. You got Yale.
It's
Right.
going to you.
That's what I'm saying. That's
It's
what I was trying to hurt.
because of the name of the school and the donors behind it.
Yep.
You got to realize who those donors are tied to.
I feel like at a point in time, I would agree with that. Actually, even in our time, like my time, I would agree with that. I think now as focus from a corporate standpoint shifts more on diversity and inclusion
Absolutely.
and figuring out recruiting efforts for the HBCU student, I feel like that has kind of streamlined a little bit for the smaller and the larger HBCUs because it's just the game.
That's it.
white recruiters,
Playing the game.
white HR members,
They
believe that the cream of the crop is at the HBCU. So I've had conversations with recruiters for my teams even, and they're like, "Oh, Jerome, we got this great pipeline, we got this great net that we've thrown out and cast some great prospects." I'm like, "Okay, so what did you do?" They're like, "Oh, we went on LinkedIn and see who went to a HBCU, who's a part of the National Black MBA or the National Black Association of Black Accountants." And I said, "So are you looking for a black talent or black people? Because I wasn't part of those organizations in college. I didn't go to HBCU, so if you consider me black talent, you're going to miss me." But they're so focused on the HBCU students these days that they're even starting to ignore the PWI students because they feel like that's where the cream of the crop. So I would say, to your point about, just the level of where the HBCU name is now, right, and it's something that's being talked about. It's being talked about in these recruiting meetings. And like that's correct. They're going straight to that. Okay. In North Carolina, A&T. You know what I'm trying to say?
But see, that's the thing is that they only go to they're going to go to an A&T before they go to a Smith. Yep. It's even a hierarchy in HBCUs.
Yeah, I agree with that. But here in Charlotte, I think that Johnson C. Smith has a high level of credibility. I remember even working at PwC. I was at PwC when I first moved here in 2013 to 2016. Even back then, we had Robert Johnson, who just was on their Johnson C. Smith 40 under 40 list. Mm-hmm. He worked for PwC with me, so he was like, "I came from Smith. Y'all ain't about to go to A&T first. Y'all about to go in the backyard of PwC. I'm going to go, and I'm going to represent and I'm going to be the recruiter if I got to be, but I'm going to bring somebody from Smith here for an internship." Yeah. And it's that type of attitude that I feel like we got to have and be proud of HBCUs and not be afraid to raise your hand and be like, "Before you go to A&T, let's start right here in our backyard." Right? And if you do that at every organization, you have no choice but to make a name for Johnson C. Smith.
Every person that I've met, and I have no reservation in saying this, every person that I've met that has graduated from Johnson C. Smith is doing big things. The event we went to yesterday at NASCAR was put on with my little brother, Levi. Levi, I started cutting Levi when he moved to Charlotte in 2007. And now this dude is doing events for NASCAR? Like, are you serious? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met Lex, and we're going to have Lex on, my man Lex. I met Lex at a restaurant uptown.
He really knows Lex.
I really know Lex. like Lex is my guy.
He really knows Lex.
You know what I mean? I met everybody else. Everybody that I've ever met that has come through Johnson C. Smith, I've met through Lex. You know what I'm saying? And so like, it would be smart of companies to start right here because there's so much talent that comes out of Smith. And if they're going to all of these other places, especially if it's a local, like if they have local offices and all of that stuff here, like, there's so much talent like that comes out of there that if they go into other places first, man, you missing it. Missing it.
But it also goes back to our professors at Smith. Like, our professors at Smith were top-notch professors. I always talk about my professors in the broadcasting world. Like, my television professor was a producer in Hollywood. Like, she produced in LA. Yeah. My radio professor did all genres of radio. We got top-notch professors at Johnson C. Smith, and they're passing that knowledge and those skill levels and their contacts down to us.
Sticking back to your professors, so just walk us through, after you leave school, what got you into the media world? What was your passion for it? I don't know how old you are, but that's not something you hear every day. Like, I want to be a radio personality. When you talk about your dreams and whatnot. So what kind of got you into this game?
I met Larry, No Limit Larry, as a student at Johnson C. Smith. I was on the programming board, so we were the people that planned like homecoming and the special activities that happened. So I met him at a concert, and I started interning with him and Nate Quick. R.I.P. to Nate Quick. Yeah.
Shout out Nate.
And he's since passed away. But I started interning with them when I was a student in college, and then got hired. I did my first radio show the morning of my college graduation.
Really?
So it was 6 a.m. No, it was 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. That was my first show. Went back to my dorm room, got dressed, and then went to Bojangles and got dressed and graduated. But I thought I wanted to do promotions in radio. And then I started doing a little bit of interning in the promotions department and realized, nah, I'm more of a on-air person. I like to talk. I would always get in trouble in school for talking. My father is a DJ, so I grew up listening to all types of music. I don't know if you all are familiar with Excelsior, the nightclub.
Absolutely.
Excelsior here.
It
was here in Charlotte. It
was.
is a landmark. They haven't torn it down yet. It's on Beatty Sword Road.
Yeah.
It is a historic landmark. When you talk about historic legends, Nat King Cole, Jesse Jackson,
Martin
all of
Luther
those
King.
people that
All
would
of them.
come to Charlotte, they would go to the Excelsior.
There used to
that
be a
club.
Thursday night spot, right?
What'd you say?
Dirty
Thursday
Thursdays.
night.
Dirty
I'm mad I never
Thursday.
went to that. I'm
Well,
mad I never went to that.
Exactly.
Old
Yeah.
school.
My
It's been that long?
I love the
oh
old
no,
school.
Dirty
Excelsior
30 Thursdays.
is like legendary.
At the Excelsior. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
my grandma used to go in there.
Yeah.
Dirty 30.
My dad was a DJ, and my uncle was the longtime manager at Excelsior. So music and that whole scene, that's just in my blood. I grew up listening to all types of music, jazz and hip hop, R&B, and everything. So it just made sense, the whole R&B, and I just love the culture.
Yeah.
I just love the culture. So
God love us.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we're amazing.
There's nothing about us not to love.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
I'm
Nothing.
gonna double down on that. I ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So, have you been at many stations, or you started right here?
I have only been at one radio station, that is Power 98. I have been blessed.
Yeah.
So, can you speak a little bit more about Larry? Because we've had Burpee on twice, and Burpee bigs up Larry for just his OG stats and how important he is here to Charlotte with all of this. What is it about Larry that just puts him at that level, just top tier of just a GOAT?
You can't deny who Larry is. I mean, when it comes to radio, Larry is. When it comes to Charlotte radio, Larry is Charlotte radio. Everybody
Absolutely.
knows who No Limit Larry
Absolutely.
is. And I have been blessed to not only learn radio under Larry, but also the person that trained Larry,
Yep.
which was Nate Quick.
Yep.
Nate Quick. Before there was a No Limit Larry, there was Nate Quick.
There was Nate Quick.
And so I was able to learn under Nate Quick and Larry. So I've just been blessed to be able to learn by two GOATs in this radio game. But it wasn't until about 6 or 7 years ago, because I was part-time at the radio station.
Oh, yeah, start part time.
They started everybody off
I was
part-time.
always part-time at the radio station. I was part-time for 11 years.
Whoa.
11
You gotta earn your
years.
So wait, you were part time for 11 years. Burpee started, ain't made no money for it.
Oh no, you don't make no money when you
Jeez.
part-time. You don't make no money when you part-time. Yeah. So I was part-time working in the school system.
Right.
I was an ISS teacher.
Okay.
You was a cool ISS
ISS
teacher.
Wow, so
though.
much to be ISS teacher.
I was ISS teacher. I was ISS teacher at South Mecklenburg High School. That was my first job out of college.
They probably ain't care either.
Hold on, you was at South Met?
Yes.
You wasn't in ISS.
Yeah,
You wasn't in ISS.
I to this day, those kids that I had, I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Those are my babies. But
Yeah.
but I would do things like go and work from 2 to 6, change in the bathroom, go to my full-time job because I wasn't making any type of money being part-time. And then a woman by the name of Jamila Muhammad, I call her my radio godmother. She recently passed away. It's been about a year since she passed away. She became our program director, and she put a sign up on the door that said "Sign up," so I can meet everybody.
Yeah.
And I was the first person that signed up. I was like, I'm not gonna get passed over for this job this time. I went to her.
Shit, 11 years.
I went to her office, and she was like, "What shift can you do?" I was like, "Any shift."
Right.
Any shift that you put in front of me, I'm good. Gospel, nighttime, grind time, I can do it all. And she just saw something in me. She was such a visionary that she saw something in me that I didn't even see. And she gave me an opportunity, and that's how I ended up on the morning show. She was
That's what's
amazing. So just people like Nate, Larry, Jam, that I've been able to learn from, those are the people that have been able to influence me and help me in this industry.
So you were part-time for 11 years. How long have you been full-time now on the morning show?
About 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
About,
Okay.
and it's this October is my anniversary.
Okay.
Next
October's
October?
my
Oh,
anniversary.
this
This
October.
October.
Happy
Happy
anniversary!
What we doing for it?
Yeah.
Nothing, just working.
We
work.
We
We
call
work.
in.
Yeah, we
Shout
did.
you out.
We work, but I'm blessed because I've gone from part-time to the morning show, co-host of the morning show. Now I have my own afternoon show.
Yeah.
And I have a weekend show. So I got 3 shows that are on.
Yeah.
Now, do they pay you 3 times?
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's dope.
Right.
So how's that juggling all 3? So you pick different topics for every show you on?
Yeah. I have to craft 3 different shows. So morning show, it's a lot. Entertainment. Morning show is like, it's right now.
Yeah.
What's happening right now? Because you got to keep people informed. When you wake up in the morning, you're going to turn on the radio, you're going to turn on the news to find out what's happening right now. Afternoon is more topic and conversational. I can pick out some topics for us to talk about. And then my weekend show is just a recap of everything that's happened during the week.
Being a woman in this industry, do you feel as though you have to have, certain topics you have to speak about? Topics more like, I guess, more spicy, more like.
I think that people want the female to be the gossip type person and talk about those types of things, which is cool because sometimes I'm interested in those stories, but I also want to talk about some things. I want to talk about real life issues, and I do a segment on every Monday called Miss Jessica's Doghouse Courtroom. Those are real life things, real life situations where it can engage conversation because you feel some type of way and then you might feel some type of way. And we can have some real conversation about real life things that everyday people go through.
Be on the show with 2 males. How do you enjoy this? What are the pros and cons of being the lady?
Well, it's not just 2 males. So prior to COVID, it was 4.
Okay.
Prior to COVID, it was 4. And then one of them was no longer with us, but there are 3 because Butterfingers is there also. You may not hear him a lot. He's more of our production person. Okay. But he is still there every morning. And he's an asset to the show.
He's like Aaron.
Yeah, exactly. You it's weird. It's
what? These was the cons, huh? Maybe potentially.
You know what? So it is good for me as a woman because it presents me with what men think. So sometimes if I'm going through something, if I have to be trying to understand what's going on with my man at home or something like that, or just any guy in general, I got brothers, I got a father or something like that.
Shout out to AJ again.
I can sit up there and I can hear their perspective. So there's a pro there. The con is sometimes I constantly have to remind them, hey, listen, I'm a female and I'm not here for your entertainment. It's not just, a woman walking around to look pretty for you.
Exactly.
And to say things to make you feel good or anything. I'm a woman, and I have a perspective.
Right.
I have something that...
You got something to say.
Yeah, I got something to say.
Yeah.
You should acknowledge that and take that into perspective. In the same way that I listen to you all and I hear that and I'm like, okay, you got to do the same thing for me. Yeah. And it's a little hard to push through because I'm outnumbered. But, I do that. I've been able to navigate that. You gotta have some thick skin. You gotta have some thick skin to be in there, sitting there and hear some things that are said and, see some things. And, there are some times where I will sit in there and I will literally zone out. They will go, Jessica. And I'm like, yes. Because I just got to zone out and get in my own space. But it's the work environment. And that's just specifically that environment. I say it's more pros than it is cons. I will say that. I enjoy working. I do enjoy working with those fellas. On a bigger level, as far as radio is concerned, women are not represented in radio the way that they should be. If you look around, how many morning shows that are hosted by women do you all know of? You know about Steve Harvey, you know about Ricky Smiley, you know about The Breakfast Club, and you hear Envy, and you know, and you see Angela's leaving and things like that. Exactly.
Then you got Sybil.
Yeah, exactly. They're always the co-host.
Yeah.
They're always the co-host. And I walked into my boss's office and I told him straight up, when the afternoon show became available, I was like, I want it. And he was like, I can't take you off that morning show. And I was like, well, then give me both. Because I don't want to be a co-host for the rest of my life. I don't want to be Larry's sidekick for the rest of my life. I want my own. So give me my own. And he was like, all right, we can mess with that. But that's the type of push that we gotta go in there and be like, hey, you know. So there's a lot of work to do in the radio world to make sure that women are sitting in the big chair. That still hasn't happened yet.
Why do you think women haven't got to where they need to be in that realm yet?
Because there are men that are sitting in the head
sitting
table.
on
There are
chairs.
men that are the men are the program directors. The men are the ones that are hiring and things of that nature, and they just look at women as the sidekick.
Which is crazy, because I I listen to the show. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody has a voice, you know what I'm saying? Like I look forward to hearing what you say just as much as I look forward to hearing what Burpee says, just as much as I look forward to hearing what Larry says. And so, and then like when Larry's not on, because there's some time when Larry's not on and you're driving a boat, like I enjoy those shows just as much as I enjoy the shows when, you know, it's all three of y'all, you know what I mean? So like to me, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah, that's how it is in this industry. We're still sort of fighting to get that leadership role for women.
And we'll get there.
So I know you talked about catering your topics, right, for the weekend and the afternoon show. Taking in mind what you just spoke about, like, do you shift the focus of your topics from maybe what y'all talk about in the morning show that may be a little bit uncomfortable for you or that may make you cringe or space out, right? Are you focusing more on those topics that you feel like the female viewer wants to hear, or highlighting those ways that other females in the industry could break through, kind of like you did?
I don't think which maybe I might need to start doing, but I don't think that when I pick topics to talk about, I don't think I talk about them based off of a female, male. Like, will more men want to listen or what? I think pick topics that people are talking about.
For sure.
People are talking about and can offer up an opinion about. So.
That's dope. Well, while we got you on camera, please shout out your afternoon and weekend show for the viewers, please.
So I am the host of Afternoon Vibes on Power 98, which is on from 3 to 7, Monday through Fridays.
Yay.
I'm the co-host of the Morning Madhouse, which is on Monday through Fridays, 5:50 to 10 a.m. And I'm the host of Weekend Vibes. The Weekend Kickback, which is on Saturdays from 4 until 10.
Long story short, put your radio on Power 98 and don't change it.
There it is.
Point blank period.
There it is.
Put it on Power 98, don't change it.
You got Jess all day and all night.
All day.
You know
what I
that's
mean?
good. And look, she got a TV smile over there. You see my eyes? She don't even need to be on radio. We got to get a camera in there. But switching lanes for a second. So we had Burpee on twice, you know. That's our guy. One of the questions we asked him, we had a good discussion about, was the identity of Charlotte. What do you think that is? What can we do to make it one of those household names we talk about cities to come visit, in your opinion?
I think it's there. I think people are talking about Charlotte. I recently saw a clip with Dwight Howard, and he was with Stack and Matt Barnes, and they asked him, what place have you been that you enjoyed the most playing at? And he said Charlotte.
Really?
He said that he
Dwight.
liked
Hell
Charlotte.
yeah, Dwight got
Come on.
off here, bro. Like Dwight
I wasn't
ball.
going to say that.
Yeah.
But, he had a great time in the city. Trained with my boy Thrill. Boxing training, all that shit. Basketball?
Dwight had one of his. Let me put it like this: Dwight had one of his better seasons.
Did he?
Hold on, let me finish. He had one of his better seasons here since he's left Orlando. I'm not saying it was like an all-star year. I'm not saying that he put up a lot of numbers, but as far as like, let me put it like this: old Dwight had one of his better years here than he's had anywhere else.
I think that Charlotte is being talked about more. I was watching Power, the new episode of Power, and the guy said that he got a job in Charlotte. Yeah, and I think people are talking about it more. I think what messes Charlotte up, especially for black people, are like the rules and the things like when we had CIAA, they want to regulate how we move during CIAA. It's like people want to come to Charlotte, and then when they get here, it's like they don't treat us right when they get here, and that's what messes us up.
Yeah, the higher ups don't respect when we back to the city.
Yeah, which sucks because a lot of higher ups are black.
That's why I was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
but you
gonna
look
bring
at
it back, but like, real
you
talk,
look
like
at
you said.
the housing, and I mean you can't find housing around here, and then people are moving here in crazy amounts. Businesses are moving here, and I think people are talking about Charlotte. It was always known as an up and coming. I think we're
there now.
I think we're
The
there.
city is there.
You think we're there already?
People keep
I think
calling it the same thing.
I don't know if we're there, but we're right.
On the cusp.
Yeah.
Dope. Like I said, it's just crazy to hear the different perspectives of it. Because, like I said, we talked about it first. It was more so like we still got a little bit of way to go. Like the music, the nightlife, and then you said we there. It's always good to hear both sides of it.
I think we get it, and then something sort of messes it up. Like we
Push us
get
back.
it.
We take steps, and then something pushes us back.
Yeah. So if we can keep it consistent,
Yeah, we'll be
if we can
good.
get something consistent, we got it. We got it. Think about all the sporting. We got football.
Soccer
we got
now.
basketball. We got soccer now.
Baseball.
Hockey.
NASCAR. We was just out there with
just
NASCAR.
at NASCAR.
You got lacrosse now. Charlotte.
Yeah.
Well, not now, but they got lacrosse for sure.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff.
Hey,
I'm with it. I mean, like I said, it's always good to ask, get different perspectives. Hopefully somebody listening can help us get there, make everybody happy about living in Charlotte. I love it. I think we're in the right direction. Like you said, we're on the cusp. I feel like we need a couple more steps.
Yeah.
And we're going to be that city.
Yeah.
Definitely. Putting back to radio. Dude, it's like I said, you've been there 11 years. Some of the best guests, best experience you had on the show so far. Good and bad, actually.
If you could give like a top 3 best experience, and then a top 3 maybe not so pleasant.
Well, of course, the Peter Thomas one is Peter Thomas is good and bad. Peter Thomas is good and bad. If you're not familiar with that.
Oh God.
Peter Thomas, who was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, got into it with
Pete was hot.
Matt, who was Kenya's boyfriend at the time.
Yep.
And I reached out to Matt to do an interview.
Yep.
And Matt agreed.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, well, cool. I reached out to Peter and was like, will you come and do the interview? And at first, Peter said no. Peter was like, no, I'm not going to do this interview. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. But then the day that it happened, Peter called me. He was like, never mind. I'll come and I'll do the interview. And I was like, okay. And then they show up.
Yep.
And they get to fighting in the studio.
Yeah.
Knives were pulled out and everything.
Yeah.
Like it made TMZ.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real smoke.
Yeah,
it was real.
Yeah, it went down, and the studio was like, the thing about the studio isn't like huge. Like the studio, it's a studio.
Yeah.
Like, and so
It was
It ain't a
smaller
whole
than
lot of
this
space. It's not a whole lot of
It was smaller
space
than this
to
space.
get down in there. And them boys got down in there.
What were you doing? Just watching, smiling, laughing? Who fights better? Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that was you was doing. That was you.
That's so. Here's the thing, because I caught slack. I caught slack for that. A lot of people, because I tried to break it up.
Yeah.
I tried to break it
Yeah,
up.
nah, she tried to.
Well, okay, so there
Delta,
was, it was Matt,
that mean?
Peter.
What you mean what that mean?
I mean, my line is known as Gangsta Gamalanda, but that's a whole other story. No.
The chicks you want to try and break the fight if there's other men in the room.
No, well, here's
That's
the thing.
crazy.
Here's the thing. It was Matt, Peter, DJ Butterfingers, and myself. We were only 4 people in my camera guy, okay? Camera guy never stopped filming, which is great. Which is great. He did exactly
Aaron,
what he
you
was
better not
supposed to do.
never stop filming, bro. You better
He
not
did
never
exactly what he was
stop
supposed to do.
filming.
Butterfingers had just gotten out of the hospital.
Damn.
Literally just
Yeah.
gotten out of the hospital. Like, when I say gotten out of the hospital, he almost died. He almost
what's wrong with
died.
him?
So he, I think his appendix burst or something. Like, it was very, very serious. So he couldn't jump in. Like, physically he couldn't. I, like I told you, was an ISS teacher.
You know
I'm
this.
used to breaking up fights. This is nothing new to me or whatever. So I just went into that mode. But people, it was funny because my teachers and principals and things like that, we were like, oh, that's Jessica. That's what she do. But other people were like, as a female, you should never jump in between. And I get it. I shouldn't. But that's just second nature. Plus, it was my interview. It was my interview that I booked. And so I'm like,
Hold
I
on.
can't.
Plus, you got 2 older brothers.
Yeah, I got 2 older brothers
Thank you.
and everything else like that. So I can sort of hand them all. So that was a great interview in the aspect of I went viral. It was a bad interview in the aspect of these 2 grown men fighting. So that one was one. I have another interview that I did with Cam Newton. That one went viral where we were singing Usher's "Nice and Slow." We did a duet together. That one was pretty good.
Anytime y'all had Cam up, it was classic.
And, Cam Newton was pretty good. Kevin Hart, we've had an opportunity to interview Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Kevin Hart was pretty good. No. Kevin Hart. We did Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. Those were both very good interviews. I've been blessed.
I can imagine Cube was dope.
I've been blessed. I've been blessed because in addition to the people that have come into the studio here in Charlotte, I get to go to BT every week.
Exactly.
I know.
So
You, Tiff.
like Lizzo, Ari Lennox, and I mean those interviews are back to back to back to back to back. The baby is always a nice
What's your man got going
interview.
on right now? What's your man got going on right now?
There are certain things that I think that the baby does that I think he catches a bad rap for.
Always.
There are other things that he does, and I'm like,
And he don't get enough credit for it. And then it's
why
like,
you
he
doing
do
that?
shit.
Come on, why you doing
Right,
that?
You don't gotta
So
prove to everybody you can fight.
yeah,
In the street, like, you gotta
I
prove
think
that.
that the baby is very, 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 very talented.
Oh,
very,
I
very,
feel like
very,
he don't have
very,
I feel like he don't have a team around him.
very, very talented, and I just I want him to get back to the music instead of the gimmicky stuff.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like he don't have like if we go out, depending on how we show up, we got shut up. We got to run.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes he gets bored.
We're gonna need that next. We're gonna need that this week.
But you know what I've learned in dealing with people is that you can only do what you know.
That's it.
You can only do what you know. So if you grown up your whole life and you always gotta be on go, you always gonna be on go.
He always
Can't
been
change
on
it
that.
now.
Yeah, you know
Change it now.
you're not gonna be around the person that's gonna go chill out. You know, if they don't know that
Absolutely.
that
No,
part.
absolutely.
So you got to get that person on your team. You got to get that person on your
But
team.
it's new. So, we got to also remember, my man had only been in the game for a couple years. This is
Enough.
Buddy, what you mean? Are you a perfect gentleman right now at 35, 36?
A perfect gentleman?
No, he's a perfect man. You still learning, right?
Nobody's perfect.
Correct. So it takes everybody time to get to where they understand what people are taking in.
Well, I know where you're going. What his point is, we always have to give people time to mature and grow and change.
You never said that.
Thank you. But I think it might be a thing too, though. Like, it's just give that man time. He's gonna be around for a long time. We're gonna say, damn, when that nigga first came out, he was fucking.
Now, what's
smacking
gonna
niggas.
happen?
But I think,
He gonna step
I think
away.
the light that he's in, though, he has to be more conscious than us as everyday
No, that's the same
men
thing, though.
as far as the brand that he's building for himself, because the level of support, in order for him to elevate, he needs.
Correct.
And without the support, with some of the gimmicky stuff, like she mentioned, those supporters are going to fall off, and his success is not going to be to the magnitude it could be if he
Correct.
was more conscious because of who he is.
However,
Again, that goes back to the people around him.
Right.
Exactly.
however, let's use 50 for example. He came in very aggressive, doing what the fuck he wanted to do.
Listen,
And I feel
He
like
got his shit together, right? My man don't even talk about the outside lifestyle you use now. My man is doing movies, TV shows.
and that's
But
what
he's
I
also shitting
Hope.
on people on social media, so he's
Thank
getting
you.
a level.
Exactly.
I think he's reached a certain level of success where no matter what he says or does,
It
it doesn't
don't
count
matter.
against him because his coins are still going to be
Correct.
cash.
But it comes with time.
But he's also
But not
in the
necessarily
street
because you may not get that time.
He's not in the street touring.
You may not get that
You're
time.
not
So if
tutorial.
He's not in the street touring right now.
yes, that's what I'm
He's not
saying.
doing that shit. So you can't compare.
can't-
the
it's
baby to
different.
fucking 50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying is though, when he first came in the game though, he was very aggressive with all the beats.
Talking.
But
He
he
wasn't shooting
also
niggas
got
at
to a
Walmart.
certain level of success before he.
He was doing that shit before he got put on.
We're talking about as your player.
I think also that times have changed. You know,
Exactly.
like
There
with
you go.
social media and
Exactly.
things
There
like
you
that.
go.
That
'Cause
that
there
makes
was no
it.
social with 50.
That's another big
Yeah.
thing too though.
Yeah.
I think we got to put that in more too, man. It's mad cameras out here right now. You can't do shit. Like I said, my man got an accident this weekend. It was more so people looking with their phone at the car accident than see if everybody was okay.
Exactly.
And then
That's
not
the real
only that,
thing.
but then you can offer up your opinion. You can offer up your opinion on it, which you get a bunch of people offering up a negative opinion. It
That's
just
what-
does
that's it.
damage.
That's
to
And
it.
that's
it.
energy.
It
Like
does
that's the other part of that.
damage.
That's energy, man. Like energy. I don't know if y'all energy flows, bro.
Energy
You know what I
and,
mean?
you know, unfortunately, clickbait can make you some bread.
Clickbait can.
So being a little to the left can make that right pocket a lot more fatter. So it's a conversation.
So to speak to what you just said, right? So the accident, the baby wasn't nowhere near that, ain't had nothing to do with it. But if I go on YouTube and put the baby had an accident and just had a car flipped over, guess what people gonna do? They gonna click, and then guess what's gonna happen next? YouTube gonna cut me a check.
Yeah, man.
So now anytime something happens in Charlotte, whether he got something to do with it or not, I'm gonna put his name to it, just so I can get paid. Like those are the times that we live in.
And that's wild.
Yeah.
And that's fucking wild. But, you know, to each his own. God bless these next generations that's going to happen with us. All right, so you talked about pros and cons of your job. You talked about just the best interview she had. Like, if you had to wrap it up in one thing, like, what's the best thing about being in the radio game? And by the way, you ain't touched none of your drinks in a long time.
Yeah, long ass time. We've been over here sipping.
Jess isn't a big drinker. They hype
No,
up
she
like,
is. She just got to be at work.
First of all, you
early.
made this one much stronger than you made the first
Well,
one.
that's what I'm
You did say I'm heavy-handed.
You did.
I did some curls this morning.
And I gotta wake up at 3.
This
I gotta
nigga
wake up
said
at
I
3.
curl.
For sure. We'll
He
get
said
up.
I curled this morning. I curled. What does this? Who knows?
I think that everybody has a purpose in life.
Okay.
And when you are living your purpose, it comes very, very easy for you. Like, and I think I'm just living my purpose. I'm able to go and do something that I love. I love music. I love our culture. So to be able to talk about that. And I guess one of the things that I also love about my job is I get to learn. Like, interviewing people isn't just about interviewing it to get information out to people. It's also about so I can learn about things, which I think is really dope. And then I'm able to do all of my community work too as well.
Shout out to
So
the community work.
I'm able to just do all the things that I think that God created me to do
Amen.
in this world.
How about you, buddy?
What?
The best part of your job?
Ah, man. Again, doing what I love to do, man. Like, honestly, like, I get a chance to reach down into a person, show them what they have that they don't believe in, and I help them bring that shit out, and it's different. Like, empowering people is like, that shit is special. Like, when you can show somebody, like, listen, I'm gonna tell you to do this. You tell me you can't. We figure out the best way to get you there, and then you do it, and you supersede that shit. You can't fucking beat it, bro.
And I will say this for Mike. I know this because I've actually been in his class, and I'm not athletic at all or anything like that. Like, I struggle, but Mike makes you feel like you can do it. Like, it's never, like, you walk in and you're like, but the energy that he brings, it just makes you feel like you can do it. And I truly believe that, I know Mike and I know Elliot, I know that they are doing what they were made for, because they make people feel good when they interact with them. Like the work that Mike does when he was working with me, I stopped going. But like my sister Leslie, she goes, and I mean, not
Leslie.
Like
Leslie goes
like church.
to the point where she will be like, I need to get out of here and go see Mike.
Yeah.
Like at work, if it's stressing her, she's like, I need to get out of here and I need to go see Mike. Which I think is really dope, and I think that's a testament to Mike and the kids that Elliot, like, I see him. It's crazy because I'll pull up an event and it'll be like, we got barbers out, and I don't even have to look for her. I know that Elliot is going to be one of those barbers that's out there and making kids feel good. I just think that they're living in their purpose.
Yeah. For me, like, I learned a long time ago that haircuts, like, change lives. Like, literally, like,
Gives that power.
like everybody that's in here, when you get your your hair done,
Yep.
you feel different. You get your haircut, you feel different.
You know that.
Get your haircut, you feel.
I got errands to run.
You know what I mean? Like, you got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? And so for me to be behind that chair, to be the one that's responsible for that, to be responsible for the level up, to be responsible, like this is the crazy part. Like, I cut people right before they go into, like, business meetings. I cut people right before they go into interviews. I cut people right before they propose.
First date.
I cut people first dates, weddings, all of that. You come see me before you go do that.
Before I do anything.
Before you do anything.
Like, my barber.
Like, that makes me feel like a superhero sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, damn, like,
Hey, man.
like, damn, like, what I do, like, matters that much. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't take it for granted. I appreciate everybody that has ever sat in my chair and will sit in my chair, because it took me a minute, but I understand the impact that I make in other people's lives. That's the biggest thing for me, understanding what I do for other people. Like I told y'all before in a different episode, like, the money is amazing, the money is great, but for me to actually understand the impact and what's going on the other side of that haircut, man, you can't beat that.
You know the beautiful thing about it? The world's getting so computer oriented, and there's robots that do shit for you. Certain things you can't beat, man.
You can't.
The barbershop, that can't be duplicated.
Nah.
Cut your hair yourself, cool. You can try. But a good barber, they'll put that line to you just the way you need it. Or whatever, put that spray on you, that's this is what that sound, bro. It's different, man.
I do an event every year, the Big
Undefeated.
Cut.
The Big
and
Cut. Shout out
it's
to
been
Big
5
Cut.
years, and Elliot has done the Big Cut every single year. And the reason, and we always do it the day before school starts.
Gotcha.
And the reason why we
That
do it on the
outfit
day
already laid
before
out.
the school starts is because the thought process is, and this is something that God placed on me, was when you look good,
You
you
feel
feel
good.
good, and then you're going to do good. So the
Yep.
thought process is, if we're sending our kids back to school and they're feeling good,
Yep.
they will do good in school. And I saw a kid sit in Elliot's chair this year, 9 years old, and got his first haircut ever. At 9 years old,
Yeah.
sat in Elliot's chair and got
Yeah.
his first haircut ever. And we got up, he had the biggest smile on his face. Like,
I don't like that no more.
he's like,
Yes.
Right.
he's like, I got a haircut. Like, and I was able to capture it. Just, these kids walk away and they just walk out.
That's fire.
And for the mother who has 4 kids,
Talk about
4
it, Jess.
boys,
Talk about it, Jess.
who can't afford 4 haircuts
At
for
the
the
same
first day of
time?
school at the same time, that is huge what he is doing. So that's amazing. Like you said, the conversations that happen in barbershops, the things that you talk about, the things that you learn.
Country club.
Yeah, like
Inspiration you can get from it.
I feel honored sitting in here with y'all right now.
Just go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl.
Clap for Elliot.
Stop,
Elliot,
man. Stop. No, hold on. Time out. Real quick. Because I understand we recognizing me right now, but I got a team behind me. And part of my team is here right now. So I want to shout out my man, Hefe, Jeff Mason. Spin that all the way around, Aaron. Shout out my man, Jeff, because he's part of my team. Jeff just pulled up to be a part of the pod tonight. He ain't have to. He got other stuff he could be doing, but he here with us kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. J.
What? Best thing about my job?
Yeah.
Well,
Jay travel every day.
no, that's
Jay,
not.
summer tour, fall tour, winter tour.
I do travel a
Don't
bit.
play.
But that's not it. I think for me, being an accountant by trade, I guess, that's what my undergrad degree is in. Went on to get my MBA. Being a part of National Association of Black Accountants, right? Their motto is lifting as we climb. And I think that the best part of my job isn't what I do on a day-to-day. It's the fact that I have been in rooms and I have worked for organizations like PricewaterhouseCoopers, a Big Four accounting firm. I worked for some of the larger banks here in Charlotte, Wells Fargo and Ally Bank. I work for a big retailer like Target headquarters. I currently work for Google. So when they say it's not what you know, it's who you know, I've developed relationships not only through work, but through a National Association of Black Accountants, National Black MBA, and those organizations where when I talk to the younger generation, I'm able to point them in the right direction. I'm able to connect them with the right point of contact to arrive in some of the same rooms that I've arrived in, right? Yesterday at the NASCAR event, Tony, being a part of the National Association of Black Accountants, I put on an accounting camp, the same one that I attended when I was in 11th grade, that made me want to be an accountant. I put it on here in Charlotte for 3 years, and one of my students who has matriculated from high school to college, who now works for Johnson & Johnson, was at the Speedway event yesterday. And for us to be able to talk, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to, move to something different. I'm trying to get out of Johnson & Johnson. I said, well, I'm at Google now. Just let me know. I'll put you in the referral portal. And it was literally a 10-second conversation.
That's
what I'm placing him in a
about.
room that I'm now in and equipping him with the network to be able to hopefully do the same thing. So when I think about the importance of my job, risk management, auditing, that ain't it. It's bringing individuals who look like me, who've been through the same struggle as me, who understands what it feels like to be a black man and feel like you're passed up on, that you able and you just as qualified as anybody who don't look like you. And when you feel like you're not, I'm going to tell you that you're not, but not only tell you, I'm going to show you. And by showing you, I'm also going to build those connections. I got my youngest brother is a senior at ECU. He had a internship down at that new company in the music factory, Avid Exchange, right? I let my brother complete his internship on his own to let him know, like, you did that. You did the interview, you got the job, you got whatever. But when his internship ended, I sent him a text. I said, hey, bro, I know you was in the financial side of things, the financial side of the house, but if you have an interest in audit, because he's going into accounting too, I said, Tony Herman, have you heard his name? He was like, yeah, he's the head of internal audit at Avid. I said, yeah, that was my first boss. Yeah. My first job, that was my first boss. I've already let him know that you completed an internship, you're there. If you want to go into audit, just let me know. I send him an email and we done. I was like, Paula Cropper, she worked in, at Wells Fargo in recruiting. My first call, she said, Jerome. I said, Paula. She said, you going to the next round. You know what I'm saying? And I connected she's like, oh, you Jerome, little brother? Say less.
Yeah.
It's building that experience for the younger generation that I'm glad that you got the grades and I'm glad you did the work and grinded, but you have to learn the power of networking, and it's so instrumental. So that's really what I
and it's something that they've been doing. The
they
other
whole
people
life.
been doing. We deserve to be able to do it too.
Yeah.
Diddy, what's the best part of your job?
No, so just harping back on all this shit.
I want to know the best part, real quick.
And that's kind of why I've said PWIs. They gotta fuck with it because. Let me get to my point. Everybody come in them ugly faces. You're learning. So Jerome is getting some indoors. He might be speaking about black or white people. But listen, you learn how to interact with everybody, right?
True.
Because how we talked about, you can meet people, network, things of that nature. Now, you already gonna get love from our community for just putting on for yourself, being your best self, right? So you gonna get them doors. But it's different when you work with people like Google, Targets, things like that. We got people from both sides that say, hey man, I know Bobby and I also know Tony. Whatever you need, what's up?
So I don't think that the college experience shapes that, so to say, right?
Well, can I
I'll
finish?
I'll let you
I'm
finish.
finished. But I wasn't trying to go that deep in it, but
Yeah.
I was kind of just going to hone in on it. But because we're going to go back to our little culture episode we're going to start doing, because that will kind of expand everything I'm speaking about. Nope. I'm looking at you, Monkey King. But anyways, my job's cool because...
Thank you.
I'm with different people every day. Something different sides of life every day. I'm interacting with everything from motherfuckers that own $1 million comments and motherfuckers that just trying to get a first car. I had like they don't fucking walk. Fucking 4 or 5 dealerships just to get the right person in front of her to fucking get her in the car. That's dope. Learn how to interact with other people in the room. I work for a very Caucasian company. I would like to say me and my boy that works there with me, it was only 2 of us. Guess what? We got about 8 of us now. When
That's what
I
I'm
started,
talking about.
But I think it comes down to you have the right person. That sounds crazy, but the right person of color.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, that's
man.
not crazy.
They can succeed just as much as Joe and Ricky is them. But you have to get
That
the
makes
right
you a
person.
trailblazer, bro.
You know what I mean? So things like that is dope to me. You think of my store, it's very one side. But you see that man, he does everything they can do or even better. We should give a couple people more opportunities. So like you said, Jay was saying, is getting to that door,
There you
busting
go.
your ass, showing them, hey, people that look like me can do everything that you're talking about and make it to a different level. Because guess what? I can say the black folk that you don't want to talk to, you have no white people that can talk to them. I can sell them something. I can talk to Susie and Bobby that own fucking Enterprise and such plumbing company and
Big
just get the same
facts.
type of experience.
Yeah.
And guess what? I look like me and I don't look like them.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff that you don't realize until you see it. So you put in that groundwork. Like I said, I've been here for 2 years. Almost going about to be in 3 in next July. But me putting it in there and being in the top 3 every month played a part into that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my biggest thing of it. I
That's
got
what
more
I'm
people
talking
like
about.
me in here.
That's what I'm
Oh, this
talking
back.
about.
We got a new class of 12. It's 8 of us in this class? Bet. So if y'all get on, we're going to make sure y'all straight. So that's my biggest thing is make sure that we all good.
Yeah.
And we get to that next level to where now it's just not, they just don't fit the mold. No, you know what the mold is. That's what I love about what I do, man. Is
Yeah.
it can all be good.
That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
that was
man.
a good episode.
It was an amazing episode.
Jessica, we thank you.
It was an
Thank
amazing
you.
episode.
Thanks for having me.
Aaron, swing over here. We want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to Miss Jessica, the girl next door.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know
Thanks
what I
for
mean?
having me. This was really
Now we appreciate
really
it.
dope.
We appreciate
Yes.
it.
3
We
things.
appreciate it.
Like, comment, subscribe. Always talking about page. Trying to lighten, entertain, uplift the community, man. What we talking about, thank you again. We'll see y'all next week. All right, so I would rather go to a PWI
Damn, you took
than
mine.
HBCU.
You were what?
Did you? Did you?
I wanted both.
Where?
Come on.
PWI.
PWI.
HBCU.
I went to both. I'm going to HBCU.
Okay. So me and Jay drinking.
Drink up.
And y'all gotta look. First of all, y'all don't gotta look at me like that.
Absolutely. We absolutely have to look at you like that.
I'll explain it later on camera, but like, cause we'll make this quick. But don't look at me like that. I'm woke, y'all.
I mean, you could
promise.
be explaining it right now.
You with?
I took my drink already.
Nigga, don't count.
Can you have me a cup for a shot, please?
All right, you go next, Elliot, please.
Shit, I wasn't ready to go next. To be honest.
Well, I can go while I'm pouring
I'm
my
about to
drink.
say Jay should be going.
Mexico or Jamaica? I'm going Jamaica.
Jamaica.
I'm going to Mexico. I need some tequila.
You gotta take our shot.
Jamaica.
Jamaica. I'm going to Mexico all day.
I'm going.
So y'all just...
I'm about to just
Idiot-
kill this.
idiot
I'm
Elliot.
killing this.
What? You gonna kill yourself?
And he's
Go kill yourself.
dead.
Let's go.
It's on mic.
Let's go. I'm
No,
not
Elliot.
ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, Elliot.
IDOO.
It's
Come
on
on.
you.
No, it's on you.
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have one right now.
Man,
I'm
come
not
on.
prepared.
That's the point.
prepared.
That's the point.
All right, cool. March Madness.
No.
You can't do that.
I'm just giving you my answer. I picked up
March Madness or
CIAA?
No, I got here you go. No.
HBCU?
Absolutely. March Madness is CIAA.
CIAA.
CIAA in Charlotte.
In Charlotte.
In Charlotte.
In Charlotte.
I'll do that. For sure.
Hey, March Madness was lit when it was here though.
It wasn't no CIAA.
It
though.
wasn't CIAA though.
CIAA.
CIAA, we good.
I think I moved to Charlotte because of CIAA.
Oh, here
Is
we
that my
go.
job?
Yeah, you get another one.
So we going.
No, we
that's
can't.
on me, right?
And this the
So
last one.
we going label. Y'all all remember label.
Jeez.
Not world. Label.
I want to hear for that stand.
Or we going tattoos and blues?
What you got?
I'm going
How long
label.
you gonna last? All right.
I'm going label.
I've never been to tattoos and boots.
It's
Label.
all right there.
There you go.
I want to hear for a label.
For real?
You ain't never been labeled?
I want to hear for that.
So you choosing
I
tats?
got to choose stats. I can't go for what I don't know.
I had a good time in the label, but tattoos and booze.
Okay.
I got work. You know what I
Tattoos and
mean?
booze.
Okay.
I got
just
work.
somebody drinking.
I got work. You know what I mean? I got work.
Take that.
Y'all got shut
Tattoos.
to the head, 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 to the head,
Look
to the
at
head,
her
to the head,
Ah!
at least 5-10 seconds. At least. Oh, you got it. You got it. That's
Oh,
right.
shit.
That's
She
a
killed you,
delta.
Mike.
That's
Mike,
delta.
she killed you.
That's a
Delta
Mike.
right there.
Oh, Mike.
That's a
She
delta
killed
right
you.
there.
Damn.
She killed you.
Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, that's what it look like on camera.
That's exactly, and that's how we're gonna edit it.
Right.
Oh, I know. That's
Wait, he said stop. All right, it's your
On you,
turn.
this lady.
Day party or night party?
Woo!
Day party.
Not both. Definitely not both. Can't do both no more. Too old.
Can't go too hard.
Can't go too hard. You either gonna get the day or the night.
I'm giving you that day party all day, though.
Y'all give me that day party.
I'm going.
tough.
I'm going day. Especially after yesterday. I'm going day. Especially after yesterday. I'm going
I'm
day.
going day party for sure. Day
Yeah.
party.
The freeze come out at night. The freeze come out at night. I'm still going nighttime, man. Got to.
Hey, man. Freaky
Hey, well,
Mike.
go ahead, man.
Right.
Go ahead, kill
I'm
that.
by
cuz.
myself?
Yeah, you by yourself, bro.
Yes,
This
sir.
We
about
all
to
in.
be
We
real-
all in.
This is about to be
Yeah,
real
bottles of
interesting.
emotions. We at home sleep.
Yeah, with the Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? With the Michael
I think
Jackson.
it's because of my life, bro. I can't be out for day parties, bro. So that's all I know is nighttime shit. You know what I mean? But
Well, let's know how that
worked
drink
for me.
tastes. Let's know how that
Yeah,
drink tastes.
yeah.
Right.
Nah, you got to kill that, cuz.
Today is.
There you go. There we go.